at skl.sh.
Thank you, SHM Kevin, for the 2 months.
The best or the worst at something. So what is your specific country best or worst at in the entire world? Half of the countries in the world are in this video, while the next half will be in next week's video called Part 2.
Guys, I don't watch the David Blaine thing.
Afghanistan first, which produces the most opium in the world. 90% of world heroin contains opium.
Wow, good job.
Albania has the highest number of military bunkers per capita in the world. There are 5.7 bunkers every square kilometer, or 1 bunker for every 18 people in the country.
Good job.
Algeria is the largest country in the world, which has 0% of their territory made up of water. Andorra has the highest life expectancy in the world at an amazing 81.1 years. Angola has the highest infant mortality rate in the world at 96 deaths for every 1,000 births. Antigua and Barbuda has the lowest suicide rate anywhere in the world and was the only country in 2015 to not report a single suicide.
Wow.
Argentina has the highest consumption of beef per capita, with people consuming an average 65.2 kilograms per year. Armenia has the longest non-stop cable car ride that stretches for 5.6 kilometers in length. Australia has the highest recorded number of fatal shark attacks.
Wow, good job, Australia. What every country is the best at. That kind of makes it sound like it's gonna be positive stuff. But
fatal incidents since 1900. Meanwhile, Austria has the most paid time off for employees in the world, up to 43 days per year. Azerbaijan has the largest percentage of territory covered by mud volcanoes. About half of all mud volcanoes in the world are located here, so congratulations.
They're the best at feeding sharks.
Has the lowest business tax rate in the world, 0%, while Bahrain has the lowest individual tax rate in the world, also 0%. Bangladesh has the most rivers in the world. There are over 700 inside the country. Belarus has the highest amount of alcohol consumed per capita in the world. 17.5 liters are consumed per person per year. Belgium, meanwhile, has the highest individual tax rate in the world, up to 64%. Bhutan has the largest percentage of their population involved in agriculture, over 80% of the population. Bolivia is the largest producer of Brazil nuts, so again, congrats. While Bosnia and Herzegovina has the largest number of landmines per capita in the world. 152 landmines for every square kilometer of the country.
Fireworks!
Botswana is the world's largest producer of diamonds, and Brazil has the most FIFA World Cup victories with 5 total wins so far. Brunei has the lowest public debt in the world, and Bulgaria is the world's largest producer of rose oil. Burundi has the lowest GDP per capita, just $277 per person per year. Cambodia is the most Buddhist country in the world, at about 97% of the population, while Cameroon has the highest business tax rate in the world, 38.5%. Canada is the most educated country in the world, with 54% of the population completing some form of tertiary education.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the Central African Republic is ranked as the least happiest country in the world.
Aww.
Chad has the highest maternal death at childbirth ratio, and Chile has the record for the strongest recorded earthquake, a 9.5 on the Richter scale. China produces the most CO2 emissions of any country, but also produces the most gross renewable energy in the world. Colombia is the largest producer of cocaine, producing 495 tons in 2015. The Democratic Republic of the Congo has the highest percentage of its population suffering from undernourishment.
Dr. Congo.
75%.
Yes, I'm playing Metro today. I promise I'm gonna do it soon.
Consumes the least electricity in the world. Costa Rica has the highest environmental happiness among their citizens, while Cote d'Ivoire is the largest producer of cocoa at 1/3 of the global supply. Croatia, meanwhile, leads the world in the number of kidney transplants, while Cuba has the most baseball World Cup victories with 25 gold medals. Cyprus has the oldest woman who ever paraglided, who is 104 years old. And the Czech Republic is the most...
That was such an arbitrary thing. There's one thing that one person did, and they're saying the country is the best at this? Like, what?
Atheist country in the world at 75% of the entire...
I thought they said that this was Latvia or some shit, Estonia or whatever.
Population. Denmark is ranked as the least corrupt country in the world, and Ecuador has the most biodiversity per square kilometer of any country on Earth. Egypt is the most heavily mined country with over 23 million active mines, while Eritrea has the highest number of child workers. Estonia has the most women per man in the world, 0.84 men for every one woman. Ethiopia has the most expensive internet in the world, and Fiji has the best performance at the Rugby World Cup Sevens, winning twice.
What do you think their Tinders look like?
Finland has the highest coffee consumption in the world at 2.64 cups of coffee per day per person. France, at the same time, is the most visited country on the planet. She received 86.3 million tourists in 2015 alone. Gabon has the highest number of sun-tailed monkeys, and Gambia is ranked as the least militarized country on Earth. Georgia is the largest producer of khachapuri, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing correctly, and 88% of their population
That was fucking nasty.
Prefers it over pizza. Germany has won the most Winter Olympic medals in history, and Greece has the highest consumption of all of
Greece
at 26.1 kilograms per person per year. Guatemala is the largest producer of the spice called cardamom, while Guinea has the world's largest aluminum ore reserves. Guyana has the highest suicide rate in the world for women, 15.5 suicides for every 100,000 women. Haiti has the world's smallest military with only 50 total soldiers, and Honduras has the highest—
You already said a different country was the least militarized one.
Murder rate in the world at 84.6 people murdered per 100,000. Meanwhile, Hungary has the highest per capita number of porn stars, and Iceland has the highest percentage of internet users. 92% of the population is connected to the internet. India produces the most movies in the world at 1,255 films in 2011,
Bollywood.
while Indonesia has the shortest average height in the world, 5 feet 2 inches for men and 4 feet 10 inches for women.
Dude, men are below the average male height is 157, below 158, chat.
Iran has the largest number of former capital cities, 32, so, I mean, figure it out, guys. And Iraq has the highest number of terrorist activities in the world. Ireland has won Eurovision the most times of any country, 7 times. While Israel spends the most amount of time on social media, 11.1 hours per person per month. Italy has the largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 51 total, while Jamaica is home to the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt. Japan has the highest number of 3-star Michelin restaurants, 31 total.
Damn.
And Jordan has the lowest—
Have you guys ever been to a 3-star restaurant, Michelin?
Below sea level, -428 meters. In addition to being the #1 exporter of potassium,
is it worth it?
Kazakhstan has the highest consumption of salt in the world. Kenya is the world's largest producer of black tea, and Kuwait has the world's highest valued currency, the dinar, only one of which is equal to $3.3 US. Meanwhile, Latvia has the highest literacy rate in the world at 99.9% of their population, while Lebanon has the highest number of refugees per capita. There is 1 refugee for every 5 citizens that lives in the country. Meanwhile, Lesotho—
Guys, you don't need to mention David Blaine all the time. I literally have his video here. Whenever I see something actually happening, I'll switch to it.
This is the highest percentage of their electricity from renewable energy, 100% of it. Liberia has the highest number of deaths caused by the—
Go ahead.
Way too long for
Subs and resubs.
Ebola virus. Libya has statistically the most dangerous roads to drive on in the world. And finally, Liechtenstein is the only country in the world you can actually rent for the totally affordable price of $70,000 per night. What would you do with an entire country you rented out for a few nights? You could host your own concert for the country's 37,000 residents, but for that, you'd actually need to know a little bit about music production and audio work, and what better place to learn that than over at Skillshare. While learning—
How much did it say? 70K? You can rent the country for 70,000?
So many other interesting classes as well on topics
rent
like
Liechtenstein. That sounds like nothing. Like, obviously it's a shit ton of money, but like, Jeff Bezos could like permanently own that. Own the whole fucking country then, right?
Best of all, you can start learning with Skillshare for free for 2 whole months and support RealLifeLore by going and signing up today.
What does that even mean? Does that mean everyone has to move out? What do you mean?
sh/RealLifeLore14. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Skillshare for supporting the channel.
You hire the tiny country Liechtenstein. You get 450 to 900 people, 500 bedrooms. Okay. Airbnb's new offer follows last year's attempt by Snoop Dogg to rent Liechtenstein to shoot a music video. Interesting. You just hire up all of the hotel rooms, basically. Interesting. Do it for the New Year's show. Dude! Organize the next TwitchCon there, man. We take over the city, the country, the whole place. Bam. Where's part 2? Where's part?
Double check. And
Love this thing, right?
Here.
By Tab for a Cause. Install their free browser extension by clicking the link in the description to help raise money for a charity that you care about. This is what every country in the world is best at, part 2, and if you haven't seen part 1, you should go watch that first, but we left off with Lithuania, which has the fastest public Wi-Fi speeds in the world at 16.6 megabytes per second. Hopping over to
Fastest Wi-Fi? Is that what he said?
Luxembourg, we discover that they have the highest annual wages in the world. The average worker here earns $60,369 per year. Faraway Madagascar has the highest commercial bank prime lending rate at 61%, and Malaysia has the world's tallest twin buildings, the Petronas Towers at 452 meters high each. At the same time, the Maldives has the lowest, highest point among all countries. 2 meters above sea level is as far up as you can get without being in a building.
Damn.
Meanwhile, Mali has the least amount of police officers per capita, only 38 officers per 100,000 people. Malta is ranked as the most generous country in the world since 83%
Thanks,
of
Rian.
the
Thank you.
population donates to some kind of charity,
Nice.
and the Marshall Islands has the
Probably for some tax write-off, dude.
highest percentage of their territory made up of water, 98.47%.
What?
Back over in Mauritania, we can discover the most Islamic country in the world. It's estimated that nearly 100% of the country's population are Muslims. And tiny Mauritius has the highest percentage of Hindus outside of South Asia, consisting of 48.5% of their population. Mexico is ranked as the hardest working country in the world, where each worker spends an average of 2,246 hours working per year,
Damn.
or about 25% of the entire time that exists in a full year. Micronesia has the highest coastline to area ratio, 8,706 meters of coastline per square kilometer of land area, and Moldova has the highest rate of people leaving cities, since their urban population had a negative 1.5% growth rate last year. Monaco, meanwhile, is the most densely populated country in the world with 19,000 people per square kilometer, while Mongolia is conveniently the least populated country with less than 2 people per square kilometer on average. Montenegro has the highest smoking rate in the world, where each adult smokes 4,100
I thought that was a different country.
cigarettes per year on average.
I guess it changes a
while
lot.
Morocco is the world's largest producer of couscous. Myanmar is home to the world's largest book, which is 1,460 pages long and set in stone, while Namibia is home to the largest wealth inequality between her citizens in the world. Nauru is the world's most obese country on average. Nepal is the most Hindu country in the world, where 81.3% of the population identify as such, and the Netherlands has the highest average.
Hold on. Is he trying to go for it again? Is he trying to make the jump again? We all know how that ended last time. I can hold the chair this time if you want. Are you gonna do it? I'm holding the chair, Paula. Go for it. Come on, stop stalling. He's learned from me, chat.
Yikes forever.
He's not really. I have fluff here. He's not really considering it. Forget about it. Thank you for the prime 2 months. Joni, thank you for the sub. Thank you.
Average height in the world, where men are just over 6 feet tall and women are 5 feet 7 inches.
Damn.
Funny enough, New Zealand has the largest number of sheep per capita, with about 10 sheep for every human in the country, while Niger has both the highest birth rate in the world and the youngest average age of citizens, just 15.1 years old. Neighboring Nigeria, unfortunately, has the most deaths related to HIV/AIDS, about 210,000 reported in 2014 alone. North Korea, meanwhile, is considered the most heavily militarized country on Earth, since over 30% of the country's population is a member of the military.
Wow.
At the same time, Norway is apparently a fantastic place to be because it's ranked as the most democratic country in the world, the happiest country in the world, and has the
I thought that was Finland.
highest standard of living in the world. Pakistan has the greatest performance at the
And
field.
you know how like
Sweden we have snooze.
exactly we have snooze in Sweden, so who's really the winner here? You know how you have like this friend who's a bit too perfect? Like you realize that this is not possible. There's some kind of ulterior motive, or they're like secretly a psychopath or something. That's Norway. It doesn't add up.
Hockey World Cup since they've won it 4 times, while Panama has the most merchant ships registered to it of any country, 6,323 total ships. Papua New Guinea is considered the most linguistically diverse country in the world since over 850 languages are spoken there today, and they have the highest cannabis use at nearly 30% of the population. Paraguay is ranked as the most positive country in the world, while Peru has the largest native...
Okay, hold on.
Paraguay is ranked as the most positive country in the world.
So that's a difference from the most happy country in the world? That's a different measurement? What the fuck?
While Peru has the largest Native American population in the world at 45% of the total population. The Philippines has the greatest performance at the World Cup of Pool since they've won 3 times, and Poland has the best performance at the Motorcycle Speedway World Cup since they've won that 6 times.
Wow.
Portugal is the earliest country to outlaw life imprisonment back in 1884.
Portugal,
Qatar
baby.
has the most CO2 emissions per capita at 44 tons per person per year.
Good
and
job.
Romania has the highest home ownership rate in the world, with 96.4% of the population owning their home. Russia has both the world's largest arsenal of nuclear weapons and the most World Chess Championship victories, while Rwanda has the
What the fuck were those ugly ass pawns?
nuclear weapons and the most World Chess
What is this chess set? This is the ugliest chess set I've ever seen. Look at the pieces. What the fuck?
Championship victories, while Rwanda has the highest percentage of women employed in the labor force. 86% of all workers employed here are women. San Marino has the most motor vehicles per capita with 1,263 vehicles per 1,000 people, and Saudi Arabia has the highest military spending per capita since they spend $6,909 per citizen per year on their military. For comparison's sake, the US only spends $1,859 per citizen. Serbia has the best performance at the FINA World Water Polo Championship with 4 total victories.
Wow, the FINA World Water Polo Championship
has the lowest life expectancy in the world at just 44.4 years. And Singapore has the world's lowest birth rate, the lowest infant mortality rate, and the lowest opiates usage in the world.
Swag.
Meanwhile, Slovakia is the largest per capita producer of cars in the world since they produce 1 car per 6 people in the country every year.
What brands do they even produce in Slovakia?
Slovenia has the highest high school graduation rate at 96%. Somalia is ranked as the world's most corrupt country, and South Africa is the world's largest producer of platinum at 80% of the global supply. Over in South Korea, they have the fastest internet speed in the world with an average connection speed of 26.7 megabytes per second. South Sudan has the lowest literacy rate at only 27% of their population.
And Uganda and Vietnam
is the world's largest producer of olives, and meanwhile Sri Lanka has the highest suicide rate in the world. According to the Global Innovation Index, Sudan has the lowest innovation rate in the world, and Suriname is Earth's most forested country, with over 90% of the country covered by forest. Swaziland has the world's highest HIV infection rate, with over 28% of the population currently carrying the disease. At the same time, Sweden has the highest number of parental leave days offered to workers, with women allowed 68 weeks and men allowed 18 weeks. Meanwhile, Switzerland is the most expensive country in the world to live in. Syria is the most dangerous country in the world to live in with the lowest national growth rate, and Taiwan has the best overall student performance in mathematics. Tajikistan has the world's highest average elevation at 3,196 meters above sea level, and Thailand is home to the most victories in the Miss International Queen, a transgender women's beauty contest which they've won 3 times.
Interesting.
Timor-Leste is the most Christian country in the world with over 99% of the population identifying as such. Tonga is the most Mormon country in the world with over 60% of the population identifying as such. And Tunisia has the most strict gun control laws in the world, with only 0.1 guns owned per every 100 people. Across the Mediterranean and Turkey, they consume the most tea per capita in the world, 6.87 kilograms per
I thought that would be the UK for sure.
Person per year. Turkmenistan, meanwhile, has the current highest GDP growth rate in the world at 10.3%. Tuvalu has the lowest number of immigrants at just 148 people, and Uganda is the world's most entrepreneurial country,
Vivon.
with 28% of the country's current workforce having started their own business.
Nice.
Ukraine is fascinatingly, I know, the world's largest producer of sunflower seeds, and the United Arab Emirates has the highest proportion of men in the world. There are 2.19 men in the country for every 1 woman.
How does this end up happening?
Meanwhile, the United Kingdom has the highest number of books published per capita, with 1 book being published for every 355 people per year. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the United States leads the world in both most privately owned firearms per capita, with 88.8 firearms owned for every 100 people, and the highest number of fatal lawnmower accidents, with 69 Americans killed by lawnmowers each year on average. Uruguay is home to this piece of land, which is the northernmost point on land. Uzbekistan is the world's
Huh? What did he just say?
largest double landlocked country, while Vanuatu is where you're most likely to be the victim of a natural disaster. Meanwhile, Vatican City is both the smallest country in the world and home to the largest immigrant population, 100%, and Venezuela is home to both the world's largest oil reserves and the world's cheapest gas, currently at just 1 cent per liter. At the same time, Vietnam is home to the world's largest reserve military force at 3 million soldiers. Yemen has the highest gender inequality in the world and the lowest GDP growth rate at negative 28.1% currently. Zambia has the largest number of Rhodesian giraffes, and finally, Zimbabwe has the world's highest unemployment rate, currently sitting around 95% of the country. I know that a lot of these statistics seem fairly depressing, and it's unfortunate that the world we live in is full of inequality and unfair opportunities.
Yeah. It's time to watch this.
Yeah.